On this week's episode of I-45 Confidential, story time.
In 3 chapters. Chapter 1, you have a beef. Chapter 2,
the original ghosting.
Chapter 3,
she's got aggressive love.
You are about to witness a conversation, a confidential conversation between lifelong friends. For more than 3 decades, they've laughed, cried, yelled, danced, traveled, and learned together. They are experts in nothing but experienced in life. Welcome to the conversation, and welcome to I-45 Confidential. Chapter 1, you have a beef. You just said like the kids, and I'll say this, I think everybody at this table knows that Mo and I don't want to say clash, but it was some...
We had an issue.
Yeah, it was...
Too much alcohol and the wrong conversation.
It was going to be some
furniture moving.
Slow singing and but anyway.
It ain't always pretty, guys.
It's not. And when that happened, that moment that it happened, I was like, we finna fight.
I wasn't even thinking about that when I said that.
We're about to fight. But it's good that you said it, so now it's out. We're about to fight. Like, that was my first thought. Like, my baby is downstairs and my baby is boo-hoo crying, and I'm about to kill her. This is what's going to happen today. I'm going to kill her. I don't want to say it was a grudge.
She got it too.
Like, for a while, it lasted for a long time, that feeling, that anger that I had for you. And it wasn't like I don't even want to say it was a grudge. It was an anger because that's my baby, and the conversation that was trying to be had was just, I don't know how I want to put it.
It was inappropriate.
It was inappropriate.
It was completely inappropriate.
Right. And the thing, even she was an adult at that point, but it was still, for her, it was inappropriate. Well, it was inappropriate. But it just was inappropriate. But I talked to her and I'm like, well, we're going to be doing this podcast when y'all called me, or you called me, at least, when I got the call, and I was like, I'm going to do this podcast. She was like, oh, okay. Well, who's in it? And so I started telling her, and I'm like, and Moretta, and she was like, are you still holding that, Mom? And I'm like, yeah, I am. She's like, let it go, because I've let it go. I don't even remember what the conversation was about. It's fine, let it go. And I'm like, no, to the end of time. I'm holding it because it's you, baby. She's like, Mama, it's cool. And I honestly had to pray about it. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. A friendship is to be. This is a friendship that is to be. And it's not always pretty. And we don't always do the right things as friends. And we're not the only people, right? Like, people have friends. Everybody has friends. We don't always say the right things to our friends. We don't always treat our friends correctly. Sometimes I struggle with keeping in contact with people. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that it's just not something that I do. I think about you, but, it's just, something that I just don't do. So, yeah, I had to pray on that. And, I'm glad. Again, I pray every night, Lord, keep me in alignment with the people I'm supposed to be with. Obviously, you and I are supposed to be together. We are face to face, sitting across from one another. Like, we could have been anywhere, positioned anyway, but there's a reason, I feel like, because we have to look at each other.
Yeah.
Regardless of how, even if I was still holding that, I still have to look in your eye.
You still holding it?
I still have to look at you. Am I still holding?
Yeah.
I mean, and you can, because here's my thing too.
I don't think so.
At that point in my life, I was self-medicating myself with alcohol. So I apologize for that person. Like I told you before, that was never my intent to hurt her feelings. And to be quite honest, I know what the premise of the conversation was, but I don't remember how in-depth it was, if that makes sense. I remember it was strenuous conversation. I remember she was crying, but trying to look back at the actual, like if we were rewinding a tape, I couldn't tell you.
You didn't realize what you did.
Right. I only saw the beginning and I saw the end result, but I didn't remember.
I don't think that there was a conversation. I think because she kept trying to shut it down. She was telling me, like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. So it was never really a conversation. I think for me, I was just angry at the fact that
I made your daughter cry.
You made her cry and you were talking about something that should not have been talked about.
A sensitive subject.
At that time, I was thinking like, well, what if they didn't know those things? And now here you come along with your big mouth and now you're talking about these things. They did, luckily for me, they did later in life know about what you were talking about. But that's what I was thinking, like, what if, then that would have been something for me, a whole can of worms that I have to explain.
That you weren't even prepared to open up.
Right, because this is what they've always known. And now here you come along and you're asking these questions. So I think that made me mad. And the fact that But yeah, she was crying because nobody wants to see their babies crying. And nobody wants to see their babies crying at the hands of their friends.
Or family.
Yeah, definitely not. Because
see, guys, it's not always easy. We really go through some things.
Being cheesy.
You know, what is
And sometimes it means taking whatever just occurred, and you really have to internalize it and figure out, is this something you just want to let go? A lot of times, it's really you're fighting with yourself. You know what I mean? You just fight with yourself and just like, okay, I think this through. I gotta let it go and gotta move on.
Right? Because most battles
it ain't worth it.
Yeah, because I tell people all the time, if you have a beef with me, you have a beef with me. I don't have one with you because I never know.
Right.
I don't know if I'm just that oblivious to things. I think that's one of the reasons why you and I have never really had an argument, because I think the shit you say is funny. To me, I laugh it off. Even when we were in the store this morning, we were going back and forth about the
bitch was walking slow. I was like, come on, we got to go.
I've always walked slow. I got knocked knees, but it's just...
Yeah, we had a little whatever about salad dressing.
Salad dressing.
If you don't grab that little bottle and come on. She's like, but what if they want extra? I'm like, we here for a day. It ain't that much salad. You need to
But in my mind, I try to make sure everybody is covered. Because what about the ranch dressing girls? What about the Caesar salad girls?
Like you don't know. You don't give them choices. You just give them.
No, that's not true. You give people choices.
No.
Choices that you choose and say, now you can pick.
But see, I was going to get ranch. Anyway.
I think
I got vinaigrette, okay?
You guys have an internal love right there. You want to make sure everybody's accommodated. And we all can tend to do that. And sometimes it puts me behind schedule a lot.
Who, you?
Yeah.
Not you.
You're not going to blame?
Always
No.
Make sure I got everything.
Always a person.
No, ma'am. No. Your lateness is legendary. Okay.
Girl.
It does supersede you, T. I'm sorry.
At least y'all know me.
Okay.
I'm getting better at every day.
You are.
I really am.
You're getting better?
I have gotten better.
She is.
Yeah.
She was 3 hours late.
She was 3 hours late.
But listen.
But it probably wasn't your fault.
It was a combination of things. I just hold it. I'm the one that's late, but
It's all
I'm late.
good. You showed up.
Fashionably late is good.
But this is what I said.
Food.
No, that was beyond fashionably late.
You had the food, though.
But here's the thing, though. One thing I did say is, I'm like, she already knows that she's late, so there's no need to even bring it up or rehash. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't
And
want
we
to
talking about it now, though.
Right.
I can't talk about it now. I was still
just said
hopeful. I was like, no, just be glad that she's still coming, damn it. She's coming, though.
I mean, I think I have grown a lot because the old dude would be like, don't come.
Yeah, that's true.
The manager version of her.
Yeah. You know what?
Stay where you're at.
You were sentenced to 5 months of salary.
I'm totally grateful. I have had many jobs my last part of my years that I have never had to clock in. So, because me and the time clock doesn't always work well. But I mean, like, I didn't have that mindset. Literally, you
we
talked to
at
me
5:30 in the morning.
Do you remember the conversation we had, Tisa, about time?
Time, yes.
What did I say about time?
It's something you never get back.
Yeah, something you never get back, but also that's the most valuable commodity to everyone.
Yep, to everyone.
To everyone.
My mother says every day, you have 24 hours in a day. I don't know why you think you can play with mine.
Yeah.
We all have 24
good.
hours in the day. You are not going to play with mine.
But you
That's
know what?
good.
I don't think I think it's a little bit of
Not wanting to conform?
You sound like my mom. Let me tell you how Miss Carol thinks. Just like you do. She'd be like, I was always the one that had to make sure you got dressed, make sure your brother got dressed,
concept.
make sure your dad was dressed in on time, make sure I had to cook this or I had to do that. That's the reasons that she would say that she was
You
late.
kind of want everything to be perfect, and before you look up, it's like time. You know how
But see,
artists get
before
lost
you-
in their music or lost in their art?
But that's different.
Well,
As
is it? Because
speaking
my
as an
art
artist,
is making it all right for every.
Speaking
What's
as an
everything?
artist.
Sometimes, too, time is, you can control your time. Like, that's
Yeah.
what you can control. I talked about last night about being able to control my nails. I can control that. So you can also control your time. Maybe for you, it's a control thing. Like, you don't want anyone else over your time. However,
Yeah, because
if you have the food
lately, like
if you are responsible for the food,
And I
need you to
said
be on
that, so we
time.
talked in the morning.
I saved your life, girl. That soup was ready. I saved your life. Because they
She
were
did.
talking about you, baby. Hungry
Thank
too.
you.
Chapter 2.
The original ghoster.
You know, I have the thing where I fall off the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody around here is like, where's Rochelle? I fall off the grid. I get back on the grid, but it's a thing where I feel like misery loves company. And so when I'm not okay, I don't want it to spread, because when somebody else is not okay and they come to me, it spreads to me.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, but you should voice that. Just don't not communicate. Like if you said, I'm going to be here, right? And we're prepared to show up because you said you were going to be here. And then we can't find you, nor do you communicate you're not going to be there. That's a problem.
We don't. You could be dead. You could be in Paris. You know what I mean? You could be incommunicado. I mean,
No, but when you
That's
sent
very
me that
important.
information, you was like, misery hates. What did you say?
Misery loves company.
That's what she said. But she sent it to me in a text. I was like, am I miserable? Is she mad at me?
No.
And so I'm sending her stuff back. I'm like, okay, can you call me? I can't.
But at
Not
least
the moment.
you're getting better because at least you sent her a text.
No, that was 3 weeks later.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to promise this now, because before you would have like family or connect with, family in a way of like your mom, your aunt, or someone would know. But if you fall off the face of the earth and decide to go to Paris, who would we ask? Who would we connect with?
My brother always.
Now he does. Before you were
Well,
like
he knew because my
didn't-
parents knew. I
Correct.
always kept in
so
touch
the parents
with
was
my parents.
the foundation,
Yeah.
but at this point, he needs to know at all times.
Yeah, he does
Every time.
And I've gotten better.
Okay.
I hope I got better. Everybody can vote on that.
Yes.
But
no, I have a question. Because my story for you, when I talk about you to people, I'm like, yeah, she just vanished. Didn't nobody know where she was? Her parents? Am I incorrect in
They
that?
didn't- no one knew.
No one knew. Okay, all right. So how long was it before?
about 3 weeks.
How old were you?
I was 19.
I've always
Dang,
heard
you're
your
gonna-
name. Like I've always heard you, when they discuss, I've always heard your name. And then I've always heard, oh, well, she's gone.
I mean, because you had it
Well, where is
like
she
it was
now?
like in the pit of in my stomach. I'm like, you don't know what you don't know, and you can assume a whole lot in between.
And I'm conscious of what I must have did to my mother.
Yeah, because you can imagine the mother what that would
Because
do
your
to
mom
you.
would call me like,
Yeah.
I knew where you were. And I was like, I promise, I don't know. And then I think you called me and I said, you need to call your mom.
When I got to the other end, I called my mom and I said, I'm in Paris. You will? I said, look, no, I'm good. Just know I'm good and you taught me well. And I said, when I get settled, I'll give you a call. Now, one of the reasons why I did it that way, to be honest, I was already on the edge of not wanting to go because of fear. And if someone else would have voiced their fear, it would have kept me from what I thought was my destiny.
And it's crazy because we can project our whatever on people and we don't know how that can affect them. By you saying that, I hear it in my head like, okay, she's right, because we
Why, it would
do
make
project.
sense.
We
Yeah.
do project our fears onto people, and we do stop people from doing what they're destined to do.
And when I say no one knew,
No one.
no one. No one in my family. I had some random girl who worked with me to pick me up when my mom wasn't home and take me over to my ex-boyfriend's house.
And that was Willie.
That was Willie. And we didn't have a relationship, but I needed to go somewhere. And I asked him if I could come to his house. I had been working and I was going to get a W-2 and I was going to go to one of those tax places and get my money. So I knew that my mail would come to his house. So I asked him if I could stay. And I thank God for him for that. I remember one time you guys came to the door, 3-4 deep. And for some reason, they made Delia speak with her little voice like that. And you threatened him. Do you remember? Yes, you you threatened him. I remember because I was hiding in the closet. And Elise was there. I know Tisa was.
Elise's face.
Bitch, some apartments off of I-45
Yeah.
and GP.
Yeah. And he turned to me and said, you got a couple days. You need to leave. The next day, his car broke down. He had to walk to work. Guess who picked him up? My mother.
Oh, wow.
And she said, I haven't seen my daughter. I don't know if she's
Oh, wow.
alive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he came back. He says, you have.
Can you imagine the guilt that he was feeling probably? And just the fear that your mom had.
Yeah.
And she's riding in the car with
Yeah, just
the person who's harboring you.
Yeah. But
Oh, man.
he allowed me to fly. I wouldn't change a thing.
Was he older or was he even the same age bracket?
We were the same age. And funny enough, when I left, his best friend was living at the house and he asked me if he could go with me. I said yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He was like the white version of
Yeah.
Willie.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Wow.
He went with you?
He went
I
with
remember
me.
some
He did.
things.
Okay. Now, I recall you having a goal in mind in wanting to start a
Photography.
photography.
So I had Now we're talking about Rachelle now. I would remember I used to take beautiful pictures of all you
Yes,
guys. And you know
yes.
why I took the pictures of you guys?
Why?
Because I wanted you to see the beauty that I saw.
Well, you made us look beautiful.
But you were beautiful. That was you. This is before Photoshop and any of that. The beauty that I saw, that was the beauty I saw in you. I didn't make that up, and I wanted you guys to.
Not you, Kim.
I believed in you, and I seen it as you had a purpose. You had a purpose, and you had a dream, and I knew that Paris was one day part of that because you had the name of your company.
Yeah.
Wow.
You had built your portfolio, and you said, "This is it. This is all you
Oh,
show
I
me the pictures."
forgot about
and you
that
said,
book.
"This is-
I
I'm going to
remember
Paris," and
that.
Wow.
Yeah, and you were
Yeah.
like, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna make you're my featured model.
Model,
And
yeah.
I'm thinking, really? I was still in high
remember
school.
that book.
You know, but so many things are serendipitous. I did the pictures of everybody. It helped me make friends. I don't have a problem making friends, but a lot of cute guys. It helps a lot to to take pictures of cute guys. And I was at the George R. Brown Convention Center, and there was a little piece of paper on the ground. And I'm not the kind of person to walk over a piece of paper. I just pick it up because it's on the ground. When I turned it over, it said, "Study fashion photography in Paris."
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk about a
And-
fortune cookie.
yeah, and I remember taking that piece of paper and taking it home, and we didn't have a whole bunch of stuff. It wasn't like the internet and things like that. And I put together a portfolio, and you have to have it on slides. It was this whole thing, and I sent it off. I sent this off while I was still living with my ex-boyfriend. The relationship didn't go well, and I had to move back home. We weren't supposed to have contact. But I would try to contact him because I wanted to bug him, but I really wanted mail too. And eventually I got the mail. And the mail said that I had been accepted to the program. Now, the program only has 12 people. It's a special photography program for fashion photographers in Paris. A year, it was $30,000.
Ooh.
And I went to my mom and I said, I've been accepted to a school and you could get a loan. And she's, "What you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about." Paris? What?
Paris, Texas?
It wasn't even an option, especially because the relationship that I had just came out. I made really bad choices, and my mother didn't feel like I had
Responsible enough to.
I was not responsible enough to do that. But I had made up my mind I was going to go. And so I started to plan because I figured if my portfolio was good enough for them to accept me, it was good enough for me to work in the city. I just need to get there. And so I started to plan the library. I probably never put those books back. Paris on $5 a day. I didn't know any French. I didn't know anything.
I was going to ask, when did you learn the French? When did you learn? When you were there, or did you study something?
I learned when I got there.
And how much money did you have on you?
That's what I was going to ask too.
Yeah. I had $500. Damn. $500. I bought a one-way ticket. I always say I brought my good sense with me. I did. It was an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
You can't. I remember what it smells like. I remember what it feels like. It's a very vivid image. I wasn't scared. I thought I'd be more scared, but I had this mantra: more people have done it on less.
It was probably the excitement of it all.
Yeah.
You're on your own. You're in you're not just a city. You're in a whole nother country.
There's very few people that would do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
But that,
I definitely wouldn't do that.
as you spoke of earlier, you said from Elise connecting you to New York and her family, and then Nadine knowing that she came from London,
Yeah.
and she gave you some vision.
She gave me everything.
And that full circle.
Oh, you
came
talking to her
around
before you went?
in the
No, I
big chamber.
didn't. We weren't in contact like that because you didn't even know,
Oh, yeah.
and she didn't know what kind of effect she had. Literally, I was on cloud nine that night. I couldn't sleep. Didn't know that it was absolutely possible for her.
As a black woman.
As a black woman, young, to just get on a plane and go.
Yep. And then when you invited me, that ignited me and made me fall in love with traveling. She was like, "I'm in Paris. Come." And I came with 5 bags.
Yeah, she did. And she needed, wherever she went somewhere, she said, "I need 2 hours." But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
It was good time.
Yeah, we were young. And I remember not having a care in the world.
Yep.
Not a care in the world.
Yep.
But okay, because you're really romanticizing it for me, right? But you knew nobody. So when you sat down at Charles de Gaulle Airport and you got out the airport, what did you do?
I had a plan.
What was your plan? Yeah.
My plan was I had that book, Paris, $5 a day.
uh-huh.
And I heard of this thing called hostels, which I had never heard of before. And so it's like a dorm room that travelers can, and so I had made plans to go to this hostel called Three Ducks Hostel. And I made a lot of mistakes coming off the plane because I didn't know you could just take a train to the city. So I paid this bus to take us into the city, and that was almost 1/5 of my money just getting to the city. Then they brought you to the city, but they didn't take you where you needed to go. So I still had to get on the subway. My bag broke before I got to the airport here in Houston. It was so heavy.
Damn.
Yeah, I brought my prom dress because you know, if
I needed something nice.
if a baron asked me to go to dinner, I have a prom dress. I bought socks and boots and just everything I can think of, and I had a lot of stuff. And we, funny enough, so we took the subway. I'm with Matthias. He was with me. And I realized it's a stop we have to get off on, but we have a lot of bags. So I start taking my stuff off, and I turn around, and the door closes. He's on the inside. I'm on the outside. And I remember thinking, what should I do? What should I do? Because I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I hope, hopefully
This is your second time on a subway, literally.
Ever. Yeah. And I don't speak the language. So I said, hopefully he'll get off at the next station. So I'll wait for the train. And then hopefully when I get to the next station, he got off. And he did get off.
Okay.
But now we're really lost because I don't know how to get back to the other station, but we got to walk. So I'm literally dragging my bag like a dog, like just dragging it to the hostel because I had all this stuff in the hostel.
So I understand now, even more so, while you're a minimalist.
Chapter 3.
She's got aggressive love.
I wonder if I got me a hard wig, if that would get me an African husband. I need to know what to attract an African husband.
You want an African husband? You know what comes with an African husband?
Tell us, Shell.
Which, north or south?
Both
east
of
or
them. I
west?
don't care what part of Africa.
They're all the same.
Very traditional.
I just really want an African man that's going to take care of me.
Yeah, but if he takes care of you, then you have to do what he wants you to do.
But that's with any man.
Okay.
Yeah, but especially African men.
Okay.
No,
What are you
especially
saying?
all men.
What-
when
I
you
don't have a
when you
problem
put
with that.
yourself in that position of somebody taking care of you financially, you pretty much are at their whim, their will, because they are taking care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That
it's
is
not.
true.
But the difference is you have the resources to take care of yourself. You have the resources to take care of yourself. Then they know that. So it works a little bit differently because it's about culture.
Or you have access to that. Maybe you might not have for yourself, but at least in America, like you can walk out that door and you can find a job. You might be
True.
poor for a minute, but it'll take you a second to get yourself together.
Yeah,
but
but
in other
There's
countries,
so
you are at their
many
whim.
women here in the States that have that same problem, that if they went to another country, they would have that same problem right here. Look at some of the women that are married to athletes. And if they didn't take care of the funds that they were getting from that athlete, a lot of them are stuck like Jack.
No, again, but the difference is, say they left and they had left with nothing. They're still in America. There's a lot of times we don't
take
care
it
for
for
this country,
granted.
but there's things about
Right.
America that are
I didn't say I was
different than
living in
other.
America.
I know,
But if
I'm
he
saying,
said, you going
You-
with
you're
a dart in
different.
your neck, you going.
I bet I don't.
He taking you to that big old castle.
but you understand what I'm saying, Rochelle.
Exactly.
You're pretty strong-willed, Kim.
I don't. I'm really just teasing. I really don't. I don't want
Because
it.
culture
I don't want one.
is something that we don't completely understand.
Right.
Until and every bridge is a different bridge. When I married, everything changed in my relationship with my first husband when I had my daughter. It changed because all of a sudden I was a mother and I was a mother of his child. Changed. Everything changed.
So we expected you to stay home with the
They
child
expected
to
a lot of
take care of the
stuff.
child.
I said, then that's not Rochelle.
No, that ain't me.
Because her name is Roy Shell.
He expected me to. I remember he told me Sarah was born premature, and I wasn't feeling well. I gotten sick because my body had turned on me after the whole prematurity.
Postpartum.
And he told me my mom had 9 kids. You only got 1. So what you complaining about?
I'm a I guess my mindset, I'm old school, and maybe I buy into the gender role things. Because I remember you said to me one time, he likes tomatoes, but they have to be peeled.
Yes.
And I'm like, why wouldn't you peel the tomato for him? What is the big deal? Yeah. If that's what he likes, why not do it?
When you're home, taking care of home and all things at home, it's different.
But she was home.
Yeah.
I would,
See, you and I think
But she's
alike.
been Americanized.
It's chill because it's a little different.
You and
over
I think
here.
a lot. You and I think a lot alike. Like, I'm very big on gender roles, and I probably would have just been like, "Oh, he likes peeled tomatoes." I wouldn't even thought twice about it. It would not have been a thought because this is someone who I'm with. I'm the wife. He's the husband. He does what he's going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I just would have been. You would have probably. Y'all would have been looking at me like, "Why are you peeling that tomato?" Because he likes his tomatoes peeled.
Yeah, and if it's something,
I need to
if it's
know.
something he's doing every day, though, that's different. If
do you
you know
mean?
every morning that he wants to have a hard-boiled egg and a peeled tomato, then if you're already doing that, then it shouldn't be an issue. Now, if for some reason you brought him a hard-boiled egg one day and just a regular tomato, and for some reason he had a wild hair, he's like, "Why didn't you peel it?" That's different.
different,
You know what I'm
though.
saying? Right, but that's what I'm saying. You can look at it from both ways. Just peel the damn tomato. It depends on how it was introduced to you.
But I feel like if you have a partner and you know what they like and vice versa, what is the big deal? You should want to make them
you're
happy
correct.
and give them
But
what
you
they
have to know
like.
from the beginning. Don't just change up the script, though.
I think there's a problem as long as other things are being reciprocated, that he also caters to you in that way. He knows the things that you like. And so when he presents whatever to you, or that it's the way that you like it,
I don't
then it doesn't become a big deal. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't do anything different for your child. If you knew your child wanted their tomatoes peeled, they didn't like the skin, they wanted you to cut off the crust of the bread when they're a child, you're going to do it. Now, as a child, eventually you're going to have to cut and peel your own. But for your husband, it's catering to your family. So to a certain extent, but as long as those things are being reciprocated back to you.
The thing is the power dynamic. Because my ex-husband moved here he was from a country that he didn't have a lot of resources, and he was very poor, and he moved here and he had to depend on me for his livelihood and for me to help him with everything. I really used that power dynamic in a bad way. I was young. I'm still making mistakes. Let me just say that.
But are you looking back on it in hindsight, or were you aware of what you were doing at the time in the moment of?
You don't think I wasn't aware? I did it on purpose.
Okay.
Do you know who you're talking to?
Because I think tomato gate was a big deal, and I'm like, just
tomato gate.
peel the freaking tomato already.
I wonder how long that lasted. How long was Tomato Gate?
I don't remember. Something else came along. It's like in a news cycle. You do it for a while, and then something else happened, and you do that for a while. It's the news cycle.
But you know what? I'm guilty too. Because when my ex lost his job, I had made dinner and everything. We sitting at the table, right? And so the pork chops was on the table, and he tried to take his fork and get the big one. I said, "No, you're not working. Mommy gets the big one."
Now, see,
And you
I
have some
don't like that
vegetables.
either.
And I did it at the time because the simple fact that you trying to hide something, like this one here. She quit her job and was still coming over to my apartment because she didn't want her mama to know. He did the same thing. He was trying to hide that he wasn't going to work. If ain't no funds coming in.
I do not believe in emasculating a man at all.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you're at the dinner table, if you're at the not dinner table at home, but if you're going to a restaurant and he forgot his wallet, or you know that he really is out of work, would you hand him a credit card underneath the table?
I've done that.
Or would you pay
when he wasn't working?
on
I
top
did
of the table and say, "I got this," because you don't want to offend him?
I've done
you
it.
just slide the
Yeah.
money over or the credit card over. Would you
Well,
do it?
I'm gonna make sure he didn't forget his wallet first.
But the funny thing is,
But
you
you
say
say that, but that's emasculating
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
If you're always checking the man, like, did you do this?
Right.
Did you do
Yeah.
that?
Because I spoke to him one way at home does not mean that I ever spoke to him like that in public.
That's even worse.
It could be that way, but guess what? It was a pork chop, and I cooked that one for me, and I cooked the other kind for you.
So now we have pork chop gate? Is that what happened?
Pork gate.
How long was pork gate?
Just for that meal, that's when I made the pork chop.
Oh, it didn't last long. That's good.
That was my ex-husband. Just say that.
So
Mine too.
I agree with you on emasculating men. Like,
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't do it all the time.
Yeah, go
calling
ahead.
men bitches. If I call a man a bitch, that means I have lost all respect, and I don't want to
All
have
of it.
anything to do with you.
Period.
You're
What
a
about if you
bitch.
say it, no, not to the face, but in your mind?
That's your mind.
Oh, you mean in your mind?
I won't. If I call a man a bitch,
No, I've never done that.
I won't even do it jokingly. I won't
No,
even.
you're not
I have a
wrong.
friend that sometimes he'll text, and I had to tell him one day, like, I'm not going to call you a bitch if that's what this is going. I'm not going to do it because this is what I believe. But now, when I do call you a bitch,
It's
I have
over
lost
and I'm
all
done.
respect for you.
No, that's
but like
fair.
a bitch ass motherfucker, I wouldn't say. I would
wouldn't say
not
that
put
either.
bitch in there. I wouldn't put bitch in the sentence.
I told
Interesting.
my ex-husband, I'm the man of this house.
Oh, damn.
You know what that makes you? I said,
She
I'm
said
the
it.
man of this house.
Y'all keep forgetting who
Do
you're
you know
talking
what that makes you? I apologize. And I said to him, I said, I want to apologize as
For calling you a bitch as a bitch.
I could never really
Take
imagine
back.
ever really.
but I was sincere about the apology. And I said, I want to apologize as a man, as my friend, and as a father of my child.
Did he accept an apology?
He did.
But
And
did he truly?
He did because he mentioned it many times after that.
You can forgive,
see,
but
right
not
there,
forget.
him mentioning. But did he mention you calling, you saying that to him, or did he mention the apology? Because I think if you
The
mentioned
apology.
something, okay.
But in his culture, that term, did it mean the same for him culturally that it would for a man in America?
Makes sense.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it does.
does.
It's making him feel less of a man.
I didn't call him a bitch. I just said,
Oh, you
Oh, we
did.
know what you implied.
Yeah.
You implied that he was
there was an implied.
That man should have just
Okay.
put on some high heels at that point.
No.
Because
He knew what
some
the
lip
hell you
gloss.
was saying.
That's something I think you can never come back to. Pork chop gate, you can come back to that.
No.
But now that's.
But by the time I got there, that means I no longer have respect for him as a man.
That's a sad thing.
So it's a thing. Delia has been my conscience. My friend she has been my conscience. Before, I remember when I went to I wasn't okay. My daughter had made me mad, and I had gotten so angry at her, I thought I could hit her, like Mike Tyson, just hit her in her face. When I dropped off at school, I took her over, told my cousin, take me to the mental hospital. I'm not okay. Yeah. And I get in there, and they're talking to me, and she said, do you feel suicidal? I said, no.
How
I
about
feel
that?
homicidal.
Okay. As
There's a difference.
there's a difference.
There's a difference.
Different. Hurt myself.
Look, I'm fine.
Gonna save the world from me. I'm working on it. Everything is a work in process.
But see, just how you said you knew you weren't okay. I just wonder, you told someone, hey, I'm not okay. A lot of times we don't say that, and we need to start saying that more often. I am not okay. I am homicidal. I am maniacal. I am diabolical, whatever.
I want to be in that state when they're in that state. She really didn't want to hurt her. You know,
hurt.
the feeling that came over you, but you told someone. I just was like, I had to talk myself down.
Yeah, but I must admit, and I always think about when people say money's not important, and they have a nice house and a nice car.
Is
You
it
know,
money's not important or money's not everything?
it's not everything, and I say that from a place of comfort. And so I was in a position, because I worked at a good job and I had resources to be able to take care of it. Not everybody has resources. And I knew that if I needed to do that, or take the time off or go to a hospital, that it would all be taken care of and my bills would be paid. A lot of people do not have that
Yeah,
option.
that's so true. When that's part of the story for you, you don't have time to think about how you're feeling. You have to take care of what's in front of you.
Where's
your
my child
bills.
going to
Yeah.
go? If I'm a single mom, where's my child going to go? How am I going to pay for it? Because that's the first thing they ask you. After they ask you if you're suicidal, they ask you how you going to pay.
Well, of course.
Are you sure I'm not homicidal?
You want to ask me that question?
So
Do you have a payment plan?
they don't take payment plan.
No Groupon?
It's to the people who go over that edge, and whatever happens, like we talked about snap earlier, about women they just snap, and men do too, obviously, but
My shit.
you don't get to it's almost like you're waiting too long. You're feeling that thing in your chest. But by the time you realize, okay, I should have gone to the doctor.
It's over.
It's
you
done.
finished it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't say, hey, I'm okay.
We don't.
We don't say
Yeah.
it. We just eat it. And we keep going until
Or
we
until something
actually-
happens.
Yeah, or trying to figure it out first.
Right.
Let me
It
figure it out
hasn't been
first.
part of our culture. We've swept our culture that we've been told, like, if we didn't address it during that time and it was swept under the rug, comes out years later, and then all of a sudden there's something. Like, I've had a cousin, she had 12 kids. She never knew who her mother was. And when she finally found out who her mother was, she just thought to herself that she never was wanted. So this is why she lived the life that she lived, which was in poverty, and her kids in poverty. And she took her life. She never told anybody why, but it was just one of those things, like she just felt unwanted.
And what's funny is people always say, there must have been a sign. There must have been a sign.
It
But
was
when there's not, Regina King, when her son took his own life, like she said, that was her best friend, her son. And she said, I didn't see anything. He didn't have any fluctuations or habits or anything like that. And he took his own life.
But that's why it's important to see a professional, because the professional's going to see something that we don't.
But
We're not
that's my thing, though.
trained to, yeah.
If she didn't know what to look for,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, he's not talking to her, then how do you actually go about helping somebody when you can't really see the signs
But you
until
can't-
it's too late?
But you can't. I suffer from debilitating depression. I'm talking bottom of the ocean.
You feel
Darkness.
it coming on? Do you feel it like when it starts to bubble forth, or it just hits you and you're like,
It just hits me.
it just hits you? You don't know
But I smile through it. You would
Yeah.
never know.
yeah.
It's because as women, Black women especially, like you said, we just hold it. We just keep going because that's what we've been told over the years, or that's what we've seen, that Black women are strong. We have to keep going. We have to smile. You have to smile through your depression. And unfortunately, we lose lives. We lose ourselves because we can't tell anybody that we're hurting, which is,
And I almost killed my new husband.
oh, Jesus.
Allegedly.
We're going to say that again. Allegedly.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, but what it taught me
Excuse me.
is that there is a very thin line
Between love and hate.
Yeah,
Sorry, go
very
ahead.
thin. So if my anger was any more, I would have hurt him. So,
Physically or mentally?
No, I physically. Yeah, we had a discussion, this dispute at the grocery store, of course, because of some shrimp.
Shut your face.
Okay.
Wow, you in the food, boy.
Yeah, we had some shrimp.
But you have said, your mother has told you that you're never angry about what's at hand.
No,
What's-
you're never angry about what you're really
So
angry
it was
about.
something that festered in
Yes,
you.
of course
and,
it is.
And when you got to the grocery store, the shrimp was just the last
That was
straw.
the last
Yeah,
thing.
because I asked him, you got shrimp money?
Gosh,
I did. And so we get to the
Question mark Todd?
we get to the cashier, and I asked him to put the things in the bag, because back there you got to put your stuff in the bag, and he said he wasn't going to do it. So I'm going to buy the food, and you're not going to put it in the bag? And I said, I'm not putting it in the bag. He says, I'm not doing it. I said, then I guess we're leaving.
How about that?
I get outside the store. We have an argument about it. He feels like he's been embarrassed, and I feel he's not helping me. And he says, wait till we get home.
Oh.
We get home.
What was going to happen when you got home?
Wait, he said, how'd he say it?
He said it like when people say,
You made my hair stand
I
up.
love a challenge, okay?
Did you speed to the house?
I let him take the train before me. I took the second train. And it was winter, so he had like
This was back in.
in Paris.
Okay.
And it was winter, so he had to have the little scarf and they have it around the neck or whatever. So he opened the door and he said, "You go." And I grabbed the scarf
Shut your face.
and I pulled for dear life.
Eyes here now. What you gonna do?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And he,
Are
and
there
I-
extradition laws with France?
I don't think so. I think you're okay.
Yeah, we
still alive.
We got everything taken care of. But so I pulled him, and then I was real mad. He's trying to talk, and and I'm pulling it, tighter and tighter and tighter. He couldn't gasp. There was no room for it. he fell down and he started convulsing.
Oh, Jesus.
And I go, I think I'm done. I tried to get my hands inside the scarf, but it was really tight. And I finally got it off and everything turned out okay, but I figured he needed to go to get checked out. And the doctor called me back and asked me, don't do that again. Don't do it again. Yeah, it's France. It's okay. He wasn't dead. Let me just say that he's still here. I learned a lot that day.
You think?
I did. Because if my anger had just been a little bit more.
You wouldn't be here, right?
No, I wouldn't be here.
But both of y'all would.
We both would not.
Yeah, I think you need to work on the anger management.
My therapist said it's not anger, it's aggression.
And
There's a
please,
difference.
what is the difference?
There's a difference.
Anger is something that you harbor.
Okay, and you don't feel like you harbor anger?
No, it comes out right then and there, girl.
Yeah,
that is.
No, I believe it's a buildup.
You're never mad about what you're really mad about. But because I don't feel like I'm an evil person.
No.
No, you're not.
Oh, absolutely not. We're
You're
friends,
not
and
at
we've been
all.
friends for many decades.
Anger,
Are you sure it's not coerced friendship?
No, it's not.
Are you?
You're going to be my friend.
No,
You're going to be my
no.
friend, I said.
When I first met her, I felt like that.
Really?
Because if she walked up on me, I'm Rochelle, who are you? In my face.
In your
Because
face.
she's very...
She is.
All of your personal space.
Yeah. She called me and
third-
tell me, Tisa, I haven't spoken with you, and I need to see your face. She says it in a whisper. I need to see your face. I haven't seen you. Yes, ma'am.
I do. Just make sure
That's
you are
love.
right. Just
That's love.
Her, she's
I
got
receive
aggressive love.
it. I receive it, though. I receive it.
I respect it,
receive
Shell.
baby.
So happy that you could join us. Thank you again for joining us here at I-45 Confidential. We highly encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. We have come to the end of our conversation. We certainly thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again. Always remember that the journey of friendship is built on the path of loyalty, acceptance, and grace.